My name is Patrick Peterson, and my research is on attendance at newly constructed Major League Baseball stadiums. So, what is the effect of newly constructed Major League Baseball stadiums on attendance? So, teams are spending millions of dollars on newly constructed Major League Baseball stadiums. The Yankees spent $2.3 billion in 2009 on new Yankee Stadium. The Atlanta Braves just built a stadium in 2017, which cost them just under $1 billion. But there is a honeymoon and novelty effect on attendance. So in that first year, there is a significant increase in attendance where people want to see the stadium because it's new. MLB fans in general just want to come and see the stadium. So what is that novelty effect down the road? 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, even 10 years. When do people want to go to the stadium just because of its unique features? So obviously it's assumed that attendance increases in the first year. There have been 15 new stadiums since 2000. Since 1989, there's been 23. So Rhodes and Getter studied this effect on attendance for new minor league baseball stadiums from 1991 and 2004. The most significant was at the AAA level because obviously this is a bigger markets, but they saw 870,000 new tickets sold over a 10-year period. At the single A level, it's much smaller markets. There's 240,000 additional tickets being sold over a 10-year period. Obviously, over those 10 years in the new stadium, there's higher ticket prices than the 10 years prior. Whalen and Sumbers found that 9 out of 12 MLB teams saw an average 39.5% increase in attendance. Of those 12 teams, there was also the Yankees and the Mets, which there were a few economic factors going on with their attendance numbers. The recession was going on during 2009 when those new stadiums were built, which had a significant impact on their attendance. But the Yankees did see an increase by doubling ticket prices. They went from 35 to 72. Their ticket revenue substantially increased. But I know after that first year, they did significantly decrease it down to $50 a ticket on average. But attendance is obviously not the only measure for demand. For these new stadiums, obviously ticket price has an effect as well. So Depkin did study the impact of new stadiums on team finances. He did find that construction costs on average were around $240 million. This kind of goes back to the 1990s and early 2000s, was a little bit cheaper, but only $60 million was paid by MLB teams, so that's about a fourth of those. The construction costs were paid for by MLB teams. Obviously, 3/4 of that being paid for by the city, but over that span, it takes over 20 years to get that money back. There is a large support from locals, but slow return. Obviously, there's that economic impact to look at. It's been largely supported by cities, but valuing that impact on the city has been difficult. But Coates and Humphreys did study the novelty effect in MLB, NFL, and NBA. They collected data on average attendance, stadium age, winning percentage, and income per capita. They did see a 28% increase in first year and 15% greater than average attendance in eighth year. But they did say that there is needed for better policy decisions. So subsidies are inefficient and they need better agreements. With this novelty effect, there is an increase in attendance and increased ticket revenue. But it's kind of hard to value the economic impact of these new stadiums that are being built. So there's need of better agreements, such as taxes on these additional revenues, maybe a revenue sharing agreement. So methods and data collection. So I collected data on attendance numbers from all MLB franchises, as well as revenue generation, winning percentage, stadium age, and attendance. So I did a simple regression analysis and a multiple regression analysis of these variables. Data was collected from baseballalmanac.com, which I got the attendance numbers, the overall attendance for that season. And then I got the average ticket prices from Doug Papa's SABR Business of Baseball Committee. I was able to, from those average ticket prices and the total attendance over the span of the season from Baseball Almanac, I was able to create additional values of ticket revenue over the entire season. So my results. So I looked at new attendance compared to the previous 5 years. So we looked at the average percent increase from 21 teams since 1989. This didn't include the Tampa Bay Rays and the Arizona Diamondbacks because while they were in new stadiums. There was no previous attendance numbers to look at since they were new franchises, but 15 of the 21 teams fell back within 10% of original attendance by year 10. Looking at this data below, obviously that first year it was 49.39% increase from their original attendance numbers in the old stadium, but by the 10th year the average increase was 21.31%. So obviously there is that significant increase in attendance in that first year, but you also need to look at the team attendance and the age of the stadium and how those attendance numbers change over the long term. So I collected data from 23 Major League Baseball stadiums built since 1989, collected those average attendance numbers, compared that to the age of the stadium in years, and I did find that on average over a year, every year there will be a 400 decrease in 400 fans per year, and over a 10-year span that amounts to 4,000. That is on average. Of course, people, that kind of wavers, as you can see off the line. There's quite a wide variety of attendance numbers, but correlation was negative 0.349, which is moderately correlated. And I found this data to be interesting, so I collected data for all 30 Major League Baseball teams and age of the stadium since 1980. As you can see here, there is a decline in the first 20 years, but as the years go on, you can still see a steady increase over the years. And so, what kind of explains that? Obviously, there's like the historical context of some of these stadiums. So there's Fenway Park, Yankee Stadium, Wrigley Field. They're extremely old, and while these stadiums are really old, and some of these teams aren't particularly successful, like the Cubs, they haven't won a World Series in over 100 years, but their attendance numbers are still significant. People still attend these stadiums just because of the historical and sentimental significance for MLB fans in general. MLB fans like me, I would still go to Wrigley Field even though the team isn't very good. Like, everyone wants to go see those stadiums. So I did look at the results of attendance with winning percentage, ticket price, and overall ticket revenue effects. Obviously, all these were statistically significant. P-value less than 0.001. Obviously, as win percentage goes up, attendance goes up, average ticket price goes up, attendance will go down. Obviously, when ticket revenue goes up, attendance is also going up as well. While new stadiums increase attendance, team winning percentage will be a main determinant down the road. So here's another graph that I like. It gives a good visual on the effect of, over the years, ticket revenue for each of these individual teams. As you can see, this is 14 MLB stadiums built after 1999. You kind of get a visual of what ticket revenue was like before these stadiums were built, over an 8-year period, 9-10 year period. So you can see that it's not very significant at all, but once 1999 comes around, there's a significant increase in attendance. But I did do a simple regression on these numbers and saw that there's a 3.24 million increase every year on average. So in conclusion, there will be an increase in attendance that will last up to 10 seasons, but team performance will play a key role in that. Obviously, you'll see that increase over that period of time, but it will slowly decline. As shown earlier, you'll have that 49% increase in that first season on average, but as the simple regression model that I showed, that it's going to decrease as the stadium gets older. Hard to determine economic impacts, but new stadiums have not been proven to be beneficial to the city, even with increased attendance and revenue. Obviously, these are increase in fans and attendance numbers, but this isn't exactly new money that's coming in. It could be substitutes as well. But my data did not include economic factors such as unemployment, household income, etc. Obviously, the Yankees and Mets during their opening season, they were going through a recession. Attendance did go down in 1994 as well due to the strike. But for future research, I thought, thinking about it, that maybe the pandemic allows for future research. Obviously, you can see the effect of attendance and the impact around the city. But once the fans are finally in the stadium and out of the stadium, you might be able to gauge a better impact economically on the city. But that's it. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you.